It's Aimee, and this video will be my setup for April. I will have my calendar on the left and the cover page on the right already sketched out. March was a very hectic month for me, so I didn't have much time for planning this month's theme out, so these spreads will be very condensed. March was also a month of me having huge art block. I genuinely had no idea what I wanted this theme to be for weeks. Even looking at it now, it's not a theme that makes sense at first glance, but I tried to make up a reason for it. With the weather being crazy this past month, there were a lot of days being cooped up inside the house and feeling a little bit isolated. Now that it is warming up, I finally can get out of the house, go out to see some friends, and see some color brought back outside. Thus, my drawing idea coming to life, calling friends to catch up and enjoy the spring air and the flowers. It's still a bit of a stretch, but I did what I could with my art block holding me down. I needed something more bright for me to hopefully snap out of it. Anyways, getting back to my spread, I use my favorite fineliners to outline my sketch to start off. It's very intimidating for me to outline sketches of people because I'm not the best at drawing them. A simple mistake, especially in the eyes, can easily determine whether or not the piece gets ruined. Even when whiteout can be my saving grace, coloring on top of it could make it worse. I touched up the eyes too much, so I wasn't very happy with them. I was hoping that once I colored them in and added some highlights, it would make up for it. The hands were making me pull my hair out a bit. There were so many erase marks where I had her holding the phone cord, and it still looks a little wonky. Honestly, it just really motivates me to practice drawing people more because it was a mess. I really loved the old rotary phones aesthetic, so I wanted to include that for the theme idea. It looked better than having a modern phone up against her face and added more character to it. Finishing up the lining on this page, I kept the lettering somewhat simple for the header by adding some open areas on the downstrokes and shaded them in with fine lines. There were a lot of cute spring theme ideas from last month, and those really inspired the color palette. I wanted something warm and bright that represented spring in a lot of ways, so I picked a variety of greens to outline the borders of each section and filled in the empty spaces. Things were coming together the more I colored in the drawings. I don't know why, but I love the picnic basket, and something about the small ribbon and the plaid patterns on the cloth and blanket was very satisfying to me. The drawing of the girl didn't look too bad after I started to color her in. The brown eyes helped with covering up some of my lining mistakes, and the piece felt more warm after coloring in some life to it. The reference photo I used for the rotary phone was a pastel pink, and I think it was a nice color to complement the green throughout the page. I remember trying to use a rotary phone once and thought, man, this is a rough way to dial someone's phone number. God forbid you miss a number and have to start all over again. It's still cute though. Adding in the final touches of the cover page with highlights made this theme worth it for me, and I could finally be proud of it. I'm starting to understand why trusting the process is so necessary in art. Since I put a lot of effort into the cover page, I kept the calendar very simple, using the same colors I used for the picnic photo. I made light blue borders for the header and some greens for the main calendar. Super quick, super simple. With this page completed, we move on to the final portions of the spreads. As I explained before, March was a very hectic and stressful time for me, with life in general and with my art block. I already knew I was going to be late posting this theme and decided to take the opportunity to make spreads that are more condensed yet functional. However, I didn't want to compromise on taking things out to make it happen. I still wanted to include everything that I usually have in my spreads, like my trackers and menus. So what I did was I cut out a tab on the side, making my habit tracker be visible for any week, and then cut out a top portion as well for the same reason. Once the excess paper was off, I rounded the corners using a corner punch. Flipping the page back and forth, you can see how my habit tracker will be visible on the side, as well as my menus at the top. Keeping consistency throughout the theme, I used the same colors from my cover page to outline and make my habit tracker first. I did a vertical tracker for this month as opposed to the horizontal one last month. For simple lettering like this, I like to do monoline lettering and then add a faux calligraphy touch on the downstrokes to make it look less bland. I outlined the menu boxes on the top of the page. I wanted to make it clear for me as to which box indicated which week, so I colored in a darker green for the headers and then used a lighter green for every other line to make it easy for me to track. Now for the weeklies. I didn't use up too much space for writing down my tasks for the month, so it worked out for my condensed style to have small boxes. I outline each section with a darker green, including a header for each day of the week. I chose the wrong color at first for the headers, but doubled down by coloring in a different color on top of it. I used the lighter green for every other line, like I did for the menus. I did it this way before sectioning out each day of the week, because if I did the sections first, there would be streaks coming from the lighter green and it wouldn't have looked very good. Even though these spreads were meant to be simple and condensed, that didn't mean I couldn't make room for more doodles. It just would have been too bland for my liking. It also helps with giving the theme more of a bright, cheery look I was going for. I outlined my drawings of the flower sketches on the bottom border. I could have added a green border to match the rest of the spread, but it was getting to be a bit too much green for me. Instead, I used a light blue to fill in the background of the flowers, hoping that it would allow the flowers to stand out more. I was very happy with that choice once I started to color in the flower stems. If I went with green, it wouldn't give the flowers a place to shine. At this point, the setup was pretty much done, so it was very relaxing to just sit there and enjoy coloring each flower, though I had a hard time picking out which colors I should use for them. One thing I love about drawing and coloring in flowers is that it's very forgiving. You can keep them simple and don't need too much added detail for them to look good. I was having fun though, and loved adding in some shading and highlights to complete their looks. With that, here is the complete flip through of my April setup. If I'm going to be honest, this is my favorite setup. Not the theme, but the fact that I saved so much time. I feel like I will be able to focus more on other projects instead of pouring everything into just my bujo. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts about this style and whether or not you like it. For me, I think it'll be more functional, but I guess time will tell. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see from me, whether it be theme ideas or drawing videos. This month will be packed with more videos, hopefully, so please stay tuned for that. I hope you have an amazing day. Please take care of yourself, and bye for now.